please call the roll. Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Trustee Ryerson?
Here.
Trustee Holmes? Here. Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Chairman Neal? Here. Mr. Bremner, would you do the honors of leading us in the pledge?
Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion second, discussion, clerk please call the roll. Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal? Aye. Are there any citizens' comments this evening? No. I would like to make comment about a citizen's comment from last month's meeting. Mr. Bremner, you had mentioned that you hadn't seen a flag flying in front of the township building, and you were curious about that. When we actually built the township building, it was actually Mayor Lane Harrison that we had, I was trying to figure out in the plan where to put a flag, and he reminded me of all of the different responsibilities that come with putting a flag up. And at that point, and still, with having such a short staff, and we didn't even have a maintenance person at the time, he said that recognized the responsibility with having a flag, and that he recommended maybe hanging a flag in the window or something, but not having one up on a pole. And so that was the reason that we had consciously chosen not to have a flag in front, because I didn't want to disrespect the flag once we put it up, you know, just to have it up, so.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, no other citizens' comments, so we'll move on to item 6, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 20th, 2024, 6 o'clock p.m. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion, a second?
Second.
Okay, pick one. Any discussion? I would just like to say thank you, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the agenda, but for your support of the American in Bloom project. I think, I'll talk about it a little bit. I think, thank you, because it's a lot of work, but I really appreciate it that you were willing to do that, so thank you. With that, clerk, please call the roll. Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal? Pass. As I wasn't here. Item 7, authorized bills for payment. Trustee Fisher.
After a conference with Supervisor Neal and the assessor, I asked for approval of payment of the bills in the amount of $101,680.49.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
There was one question about the IMRF withholding.
Mhm.
Should that be on the front page and included, or?
So at this point, what's going on with the IMRF is that they changed their systems. So there's all kinds of things that are going on with the balance of it. And so, as far, what do you mean, should it be on the,
So when I did the balance from the previous month to this month, it
right,
was
it's off by
that amount.
27,000, right?
Correct.
Yes, but those funds are being so.
So is that an expense for this month, or it is not?
I don't know
Not
the
sure.
answer to
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can, I'm thinking that like this is, so I would think that the answer is no, because it wasn't accounted for, and so that it will be accounted in next month's
Okay.
funds is what I'm guessing. Thank you for, yeah, it's been an interesting ride with their changes over with the IMRF system,
Yeah.
so. Any other questions? Clerk, please call the roll. Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal? Aye. Next item is to receive and place on file the 2023 Zion Township Annual Financial Report. Is there a motion?
I'll move to accept and place on file.
Motion by trustee Fish. Second. Seconded by trustee McDowell. Any discussion? I have two things that I want to share. One is at the ending balance under the township fund. I just want to have, before we submit it, Sandra move the comma to 742,000 instead of 74,209.97. So it was just a comma in the wrong space. And then just to point out, I've got Sandra checking on it, but with the IMRF, they lowered the employee contribution from 6.55 to 3.35, and we haven't not gotten clarification on that, if that's legitimate or if it's part of this other thing that's going on, and so we will be checking on that as well. So, is there, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chair Hill?
Aye. Item number 9 is consider approval of the 2024 annual town meeting agenda. First thing pointed out, do you want to bring that up, seeing as you caught it?
Sure. So for number 6 on the town agenda, we want to update the fiscal year to be 2022 to 23.
Would it be 22, would it be 23 to 22 to 23?
Well, we're approving the prior year, right? We're in 24, so
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think we're just
Yep,
bumping
yep,
it one.
Yep, yep,
Yep. That's-
perfect. Anything else? There are a number of items that the clerk and I discussed, but I looked through the annual town meeting of the things that you bring up at the meeting, and they are all township board topics and not annual town meeting topics, so.
I'll take that back. There is one additional update for number 5.
Yeah,
I think we
just
also
saw
need to
that too.
update the date.
No.
Yeah,
Approve minutes, yep,
should be
2023.
great,
Yeah.
yeah.
Adjourn the meeting to 2025,
Is
we've
April-
got that, April
Is
24th.
12th a Tuesday?
Let's
April
Yeah,
what?
the second Tuesday of the month.
This was from last year.
So that
It's
would
always on,
be,
always.
that
the
would be
second.
the 11th.
Oh.
April 11th,
Oh.
2023.
See? Okay. The look in your eye was like, wait, she's got a point, there's something off here. Good catch. Okay. All right. Did we do the motion?
No.
Okay, is there a motion to accept
I'll make-
as proposed
I'll
with the
make the
changes? Okay,
Second.
motion a second, discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Hill?
Aye.
Point of order, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
What will be the date in
The date for the annual township meeting will be on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024 at 6 PM. Can we expect you to be here, sir?
God willing and the creek don't rise?
Even if it does, I heard you know how to swim.
And in an emergency, I can pass water.
There you go. Wow. Wow, thank you. Just to be noted that I have it on good record that, like, you make an amazing moderator in case you show up, so, yeah. Thank you. Okay, item 10, budget discussion 2024-25. Has anybody had a chance to go through it? Questions? Sandra was supposed to be here, she's sick, and so, hoping. Otherwise, I would love to be able to touch base with you each between now and the next meeting, just to go over anything and everything to make sure that we're all on the same page with the changes. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. I was like, man, they're gonna lambast me with questions and gonna get all tongue-tied. So, thank you. Okay. Item 11 is the America in Bloom Next Steps discussion. So just so you know, after I got back into town, and I sent them the notice saying that it was approved, they sent me the metrics and the community profile, and I sent them back an email and said we made a huge mistake. That there is no way we can live up to this, and she immediately, then I sent the same email to Christine Wortman at the Park District, and the woman called me immediately, and she said, just so you know, every single solitary community that has done this has sent us that email. She was like, this is not a grading system, because I looked at it and I was like, you know what, I thought we were like doing so well, but according to this metrics, like, there's like so many things, and she was like, look, that is the complete evaluation frame that they use. She was like, this is not a grading score. This is a come into the community, see where you are, and see like what 3 steps up could do to be able to support you with that. She was like, you do not, there is no expectation. I was like, yeah, but you guys have like all of these other, and she was like, we have nothing. I was like, okay, let me just tell you where I am right now. I'm meeting with the city economic development person and the park district person, and that's as far as I've gotten. She was like, Sherry, that's further than a lot of people get before they do this. I was like, okay. And so I've since then met with the park district. San Alito has this information, and the library, that they're going to go through and complete this based on where they are. And then I'm also going to be getting with the grade school and the high school district for them to do it as well. And then I was also thinking about reaching out to Bruce Naden. He's, because like the Illinois Beach and the Lake Michigan, all of that stuff, and he's down there quite a bit, and he knows a lot of what's going on down there. And so I thought to have that perspective as well, because that's part of our community. And so just doing those pieces and asking everybody to have the information back to me by April 15th, and then I can pull something together, and then I would share that with you guys to see if there's anything that we think that we might be missing from that, if that's okay as the next steps. And so I'm really intrigued. Every community that I know that I've spoken to that's been involved with this has said it was literally a game changer for their community. It really helped them to, especially with the work that's going on with the coalition, with the wellness study and Reimagine Zion. It just feeds into, it's kind of the same philosophy, and with the legislation in Springfield to make Zion the Zinnia capital, and they're talking about the parade theme being around that, and it just feels like a really good fit for like one other way that we can be just putting a new lens on the community. So we shall see.
I apologize if it's already been asked, but in terms of that, is there collaboration with key stakeholders for Buzz to kind of help out?
So that it's interesting that you say that, because Mike, you had actually mentioned originally when we were talking about the whole commission thing with Buzz, and one of the things that we're working on right now, so Buzz has gotten kind of weak as far as like involvement, and there's an organization called Community 365 in Winthrop Harbor that's a non-for-profit organization, and they support their pageant system. And the girls, because all the girls have platforms, and the girls that run for the pageant and don't win, they still want to be engaged in the community in some way. And so Community 365 literally wraps around their pageant system and helping the girls to be active in the community. And we met with with Jean and Michelle, who run the Zion pageant system, and they're feeling kind of like, you know, the stepchildren in the community, not being plugged in, not knowing what's going on. And so we met with Community 365, them and Buzz, to talk about like reorganizing and supporting the Queens and whatever their platform is, making that be part of what Buzz actually accomplishes. And so moving from there, having it be active in that way with everything that we're doing. So that would be part of the festival. Plus with Buzz, we've got the community garden, we've got the cut garden, we've got, we're doing the park benches. And so there's a lot of different things. So they'll definitely be plugged in and a big part of this. So thank you for bringing that up though. Hey. Any other questions, concerns, anything about that? Awesome. Okay, item 12, Assessor Davis.
Good evening. I do not have a lot to report this month.
No, just on the emergency doors for right now.
Okay.
Say what?
We're on the emergency doors.
I'm sorry,
No,
that's
you're
what
good.
started me.
Yeah.
Oh, emergency doors, yes. So the city is putting a door right at the end of this hallway, the entranceway going to our offices, and they are going to have to cut a door inside the office, the main office, going out to Sheridan Road as an emergency exit. And it is because of the fact that if this area were blocked off for active shooter or anything, we wouldn't have any way to get out. It is an emergency door in between my door and the building department, but that is not sufficient enough in their eyes, so, they're doing the same thing for the building department, they're gonna cut one in theirs as well. So with that, I had a talk with, Administrator Nabel, and he, asked me about, us incurring some of the costs. So he said roughly 10,000 is what we would be looking at. They still have to put it out to bid, and, I guess we can get better numbers there, but I wanted to try to get something on the books, the budget, to cover that cost, at least the majority of that cost, if it's more than that. When I talked to Rich, he said you're probably looking at June or something like that as far as having definites, and then, going from there as far as when the work would be done. And he said it should not take more than 30 days. And so we are looking to make sure that we cover our portion of the cost for it. They're still gonna be.
I know some high school students that can put a hole in the wall. If you wanna save money on that part of it.
Well, and I guess just to add to that, so we had a proposal come to council a few months back. However, in looking at what was proposed, it was basically just spending about $80,000 or $90,000 for just some bullet-resistant glass, which actually wasn't bulletproof, and then it didn't cover some other security measures. So we had the staff meet with the chief. They did a walkthrough and did a complete, more thorough assessment, and so that's how we got into including the additional space. We want to secure all staff. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, appreciate that. Is there any reason why that our old space can't be used as an exit?
That I'm not sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just curious about that.
That is a
Yeah,
question that
that's
can be
not an
asked of
option.
the chief and the architect, but yeah, I'm not sure what that would entail.
No problem.
You have a question?
I think that all those doors are bolted shut over there, so they would have to do a lot of maintenance to get all that stuff up to code to be able to use it for that.
Oh, gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Awesome. And just to say out loud, we had talked about, like, so long as they're doing that, putting a fresh coat of paint on the place, doing, some other renovations. So what were you looking to bump it up to include that?
I was looking at probably estimated 3,000 to.
And so like 13,000 total
Yeah.
would be the increase for the thing, so. Yeah, I don't think it's ever been touched as far as like,
No.
yeah, since Linda Hawk was there 22 years ago or something, so.
Yeah, and there are some things they're gonna have to move, because right now there is a box that has some wires from a previous wiring that they used to use for the phone system, and that's gonna have to be taken down, totally removed off of that wall, because that's where their door will actually be. And then we have some commercial file cabinets, and so we're gonna have to do some readjusting in the office to make sure, because they're right in front of where the door is as well. And so we're gonna have to do some readjusting in the office to make sure that we accommodate for those things being shifted around, and still making it, accessible to everyone to be able to be comfortable when they're working with those changes. So we can't, well, I shouldn't say we can't. We don't want to do much with moving the file cabinets, because they're, they're very heavy, very old, and where they are is where they need to remain. So we're just trying to find alternatives for the ones that are displaced or out of place right now.
Cool. All right, thank you. And moving on to item 13, the CEJA grant update. Sandra sent an email to get an update as to what was going on, and got a return email saying that that person is no longer with the department. So we now have a new grant administrator, and she has not gotten anything back yet. We did fill in submitted everything that we knew to submit, and we're just waiting for, well, what we're hoping for is just to get the check, if not that, a report saying if there's anything else we need. So, we will let you know as that happens, so. Next item is assessor's report.
Now, I really didn't have a lot of other things to report out, but I did wanna share that, we had a letter that went out here recently to all the residents, sharing with them as a reminder, to file for their senior freeze if they have not done so already, and also, how to, request a duplicate delinquent property tax notice. So I just wanted to point that out. We've been bombarded with them, because some of them have already come in, and we know, you know, when you get something like this, it can be alarming. So, just wanted to put it out there. If you've already done your freeze, you don't have to worry about it. The letters just went out a little later, than normal, and, so it's just a reminder for those that haven't, because, you know, it's helped some, because they hadn't done it yet, and they have to file their taxes and that type of thing, or bring their income in. So just wanted to clear the air for anybody that may not have already heard and, you know what was going on with that. And that's pretty much it. I don't know how much else this one.
Staff? Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Nada? Cool. Moving on to item 15, supervisor's report. Just to share with you, first thing, the monthly report for the team, and incoming calls in 2023 was 448 for the month, and for this year it was 623. So when my team say that, like, the phones are ringing off the hook, the phones are ringing off the hook. We were able to assist 34 appointments with helping to gain access to different resources in the community. And we currently have 20 general assistance clients, and we did 5 appointments for emergency assistance and 4 appointments for disaster relief for 9 households. It generally, this month, gets a little bit quieter because people are getting their tax returns, and so I'm hoping they get a little lull in that, but just really proud of the work that we're able to do in the office with that, with the resources that we have, thanks to the board's support to have those. So one of the other things that came up actually during the decennial report was to provide SHIP counseling, and we now have a SHIP counselor in the office, and she's been there regularly, a couple of days a week. We're looking forward to showcasing her at the Senior Resource Days so that more seniors can know about that as a resource. Design Quarterly comes out in the first week of April, so that will be coming up very shortly. Excited about that. The Senior Resource Day Expo is on Wednesday, April 17th from 9 until noon. Any of you that can make it, I would love to have you guys stop by. Summer Work Program is, applications are out. We decided, working with the county this year, that we've always held firm to it being only 14 and 15-year-olds because it was a job training program. But consecutively, they haven't gotten enough 14 and 15-year-olds in the Zion community to apply. And so, not necessarily to apply that actually want to work. And so we end up not keeping 35 kids, and that's the maximum we can have, and we'd really like to be able to hold to that number. And so they strongly recommended that we expand it and allow 16-year-olds also to be a part of the program. So we decided to do that this year. People can apply through April 20th through LakeCountyJobCenter.com. What I love about that is it completely takes the politics out of everything, right? When people call me and say, hey, you gotta get my nephew in, we don't do any of the hiring. The Lake County Job Center does all of the hiring. It's by a lottery, and so we just take the students that they actually do the hiring for. So that is really helpful, and we're really grateful for their partnership in what they're doing. The Queen Bees of Zion Red Hat Society is in full swing. I actually went Saturday morning Noma Blanton, the founder of the group, is in Georgia with her daughter, and nobody had heard from her and was really worried, and I was down in Georgia, and so I went to the house and had no idea what the situation would be. But I just knocked on the door and I brought cards from everybody and flowers, and her daughter was very cordial with me, and we spent about 25 minutes, and she explained a lot more of the situation for me to understand what's going on. And so I was not able to see Noma, which broke my heart, but due to the circumstances, it was in their best interest. So I respected that, and I really appreciated the police department, because I had called ahead of time just to give them a heads up and say that, you know, if anything happened, because she didn't have to let me see Noma. And so, but I wanted to make sure, if need be, that I could get a wellness check on her. But it turned out it wasn't necessary, but they were wonderful, and they said, just call us in and we'll be right there. So that was good. But thanks to what she and Oasia Gallagher put into place, we've got a huge contingent of Red Hatters. We had a trip last week. We were supposed to go to Baraboo, but it turned out it's a bad weekend for a lot of people, so we'll be canceling that trip. But the Red Hatters will still be at the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast in their red hats, so I'm supporting that. They're also going to be at the Zion Women's Club Bunko night, Friday night at the Moose Lodge. So anybody else that's interested, Friday night, they're doing Bunko at the Zion Moose Lodge for the Zion Women's Club. The Zinnia Flower Flat sale was a huge success. There were 226 flats of flowers ordered, and that included the Park District's order. We don't do the ordering for them, they do that directly. But now we have the zinnia seed packets. Everybody has one in front of them. Yours is over there. I forgot. For you guys to see on the back is a QR code to be able to get the the Zinnias for Zion website information. Really excited about that. We had a call today from one of the from Lakeview School, which is the preschoolers. They wanted zinnia seeds. They want to plant them tomorrow, and so I reached out to Lou Hildebrand, who deadheads a bunch of her zinnias. So she's going to take a bunch of those over too and teach the kids about, you know, taking a dead flower and being able to plant. So that was a good head. So we're really looking forward to getting as many residents as possible to be willing to plant zinnias in their front yards as we move forward with that project. Especially because it's the next thing on the agenda or on the list. Senator Mary Adley Allen and Representative Joyce Mason have submitted a joint resolution to make the Zinnia, Zion the Zinnia capital. So don't stay tuned, stay tuned if you read that. And then there were efforts underway to make Benton Township Bee City USA, but what the group that was doing it realized is that Bee City USA is a lot like the Mayors for Monarchs organization, in that it's huge, substantial, like hoops and regulations and all kinds of stuff. Actually, the Village of Mundelein is in the Mayors for Monarchs program, and I asked their village administrator about it, and she was like, it's a huge headache. I was like, that's why we went with Monarch City, because it's really been a joy working with them. And so the same thing with Bee City USA, it's just way too many hoops to do. So they're looking at doing something, we're the ZBs, so we are the Bee City of anybody to claim that. So they're still looking at doing something, just not making it the official Bee City USA title. But still moving forward with trying to like theme this entire area to keep going with the mojo. And so one of the things that I forgot to put on here is tomorrow, a few of us, David Nabel, myself, Christine Wortman, and Robin Smith, I think are the four. We've got a high school bus that is going to be picking up the students from Carthage that are in the marketing and branding class, and we're going to be doing a tour of Zion with them. And so looking forward to showing them Zion, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that as they're working on their rebranding campaign, they have a real picture of what that is. So really looking forward to that. Robin Smith helped me. I talked to Derek Lee from the high school and Donnell Staples from the grade school, who they do tours with the teachers, and use their wisdom and put together a really concise tour for the community that hopefully we can use in the future for anything that comes up, if there's a foundation that wants more information on the community or whatever, to be able to do that. So I'm looking forward to that, so, that was it. Is there anything else? Any questions, comments, concerns?
I should have asked also, ma'am, what time, at what hour will that annual meeting be?
It's 6 o'clock.
6? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the ZB Senior Resource Day Expo, is that still at the Park District?
In the sports arena.
I had one that's probably something that you'll have to take back to the staff, but it was a question about overnight or weekend resources. So I ran into a young woman outside of the Jewel over the weekend. Temperature was starting to drop. Broken up with the boyfriend. Wasn't a violent domestic situation, but after calling around, there's just very little resources. And so every time I find myself in these situations, I'm like, you know what? How can we navigate a little bit better? And so I was kind of at a loss. The only thing that we really had available was to call out an officer, and then if she opted in, she could go to the Living Well Center in Waukegan. But Shamrock was full, Safe Place was full, Belief Pads is full. So there's really not much in the way of emergency shelter that I knew of. And so
Right. Did you
could
call
take that back to
211
the
first?
staff. I didn't use 211. I used just the local numbers, and then they referred me to the domestic hotline.
Yeah, okay. So I would be really curious, because 211 is supposed to be the, the off-hours resource for that. We had done a number of things. Where I'm focusing my energy, hopefully, is working with the new executive director of PADS to have a Lake County conversation on homelessness, because I volunteer up at the Shalom Center in Kenosha. They're amazing. We are one of the richest counties in the country, and we can't figure out a system that treats people with dignity and is a place where, an intake center where it works for the situation. So really focusing on trying to do that so that we can change that. We've had a couple of things that we'd set up in the past with the police department having a voucher to be able to go to a hotel. Unfortunately, some of the hotels have kind of clamped down on some of those things. So there's a number of different issues with that. But according to Alan Swiley, they will not turn away families. So was she by herself, or did she have
She was
kids
by
with her? Okay. And so, in those situations, we really try and help them brainstorm somebody that they can turn to, that's, in the meantime. And then have them come in, make an appointment and come in and sit down and look for resources.
All right, fair enough.
Appreciate that, though. Yeah, it's so heart-wrenching in the middle of those situations where it's like, why don't we have a solution? Right? We need to have something that works. And so, agreed. Anything else? Yeah.
I just wanted to apologize for my phone going off. It
Oh.
was Lou.
Oh.
She's not here tonight because her daughter-in-law had surgery this
Oh.
morning, and there's a few problems in her keeping her
Oh, no.
overnight.
Oh, cool.
So-
Awesome. I didn't even hear your phone, to be honest, so, yeah. I didn't even know. But you're so funny. Thank you, though.
I was gonna ask, because I was at Senator Edley Allen's town hall meeting in Gurnee regarding adult with disabilities. And they had various vendors. One of the vendors that, in terms of what you're talking about, and not being able to have complete resources for people in need, they address that very thing. And they also had an advocate to have affordable housing for people with disabilities. I mean, and we know disabilities could be mental challenges as well, right? But I wished we had that information more spread to more people, I guess, because the room was packed, but if they're talking about, the crowd is primarily from Gurnee or what have you, Zion has a big need as well, as we know. So,
And that's been one of the huge frustrations, is that the solution at the federal level was they merged adults with disabilities and seniors.
Mm.
And in a lot of situations, the disability with the adults is mental disabilities. They're off their medication. So Carmel House used to be this like social where people came out and they all sat around on their floor and chatted, and now they don't feel safe, right? Because, you know, one or two people in a whole building, that, you know, and it's not a judgment, it's just a discernment, right? That it makes them feel unsafe, and it's so unfortunate the quality of life for an entire building goes down because of that, right? And so,
We discovered that during the survey, Carmel and Shiloh.
yeah,
And that was a lot of the concerns that was raised for various reasons,
yeah.
but yeah.
I would think that probably the majority of Shiloh is adults with disabilities versus the majority of seniors at Carmel House are seniors, so.
Well,
Yeah.
it was more an issue of that it switched, so
that
a
it
lot
used
of
to
people
be
that had been
senior.
there for a long time came in with the understanding that it was for senior, and then things kind of shift almost overnight, and then the element that brings in, and by element, I mean, you just have a younger crowd, they're staying up later, they have children, there's marijuana, there's the door that may be left open, you know, people coming in and out late at night, and so it's just a different culture, a different way of moving that they weren't used to before that switch was made, and it was something that was forced on them. And then at that point, if you're limited in terms of income and resources, you don't really have a lot of options to move. So that was one of the things that we uncovered.
It's a huge issue, so I'm glad that we have it documented in the survey, because for years, I've been, and I don't know the solution, you know, because what do you do with adults with disabilities? They need housing too. But the senior housing always had a waiting list before, right? So, yeah, I don't know the answer. I just know it breaks my heart that seniors can't feel safe in the buildings.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Okay. There's nothing else. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Carson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.